Me and Inoa have been traveling for over 5 years now, which means we've gained our fair share of travel experience. So it's safe to say that we've made a fair few mistakes when it comes to traveling, and that's why we're making this video. And that way you don't waste 5 years of your life making the same mistakes we did. So the first mistake that people make is actually how they plan their trips. And there's two types of people when it comes to planning: over planners and under planners. Over planners are the type of people that are going to try and plan every single second of their trip. But the chances are, as some of you may know, trips don't always go to plan. And a lot of people know they're going on holiday, so they end up doing too much and trying to fit too much in. And you just don't end up enjoying it so much. There's nothing worse than when you're trying to enjoy some time on the beach and the person who's planned your trip's already packing up, putting the umbrella down and forcing you to the next location. So you definitely don't want that. But equally, there's people who don't plan anything and they have no idea what they're going into, and they try and work it out on the day, and they realize that they could have planned a load of activities in advance that might have required booking, or at least working out some kind of transport. So they end up missing out on loads of activities and not optimizing their trip. The best thing you can do is find a middle ground. Loosely plan the activities you want, prioritizing some of the ones that actually need planning, and cut down on your itinerary a little bit. Give more time to enjoy the experiences. Otherwise, you're just going to feel stressed the entire time. So you might notice the background moving behind me, and that's because I'm riding this thing. And the reason I'm trying to risk it while videoing and riding this thing at the same time is because we're going to be talking about our next mistake, which is transport. So this is everything about how you're going to get around the place that you're going to. A huge mistake is people completely oversee this and they think they'll just be able to get around, or they'll be able to rely on public transport. And sometimes that's just not the case. An example is that when we were in Montenegro, we really thought that public transport was going to be a really easy way to get around, and we didn't hire a car or a moped or anything like that. And when we arrived, the transport links were so difficult, we'd end up waiting 2, 3, 4 hours for trains and buses sometimes. And if we'd just done a quick Google search, we would have found out that that's not the optimal option for a place like that. There's some places where hiring a moped is a great idea. There's some places where hiring a car is an amazing idea. And sometimes the public transport routes are just so good that you don't have to worry about it at all. Cars are amazing because it means you don't have to carry your stuff around all day. You can carry more with you, you can take more equipment, and they're a lot more safe. Mopeds are kind of on the same level, and you can fit a lot of stuff in the underseat compartment, but they're a lot less secure, and a car can double up as a place to stay if you're not looking to book for hotels. Not the most comfortable stay ever, but definitely possible. So it's worth considering what you're going to do, because a lot of countries actually offer super cheap car hire. We're off to Tenerife in a few weeks' time, and we were hiring a car and we got it for about 20 euros a day, which for so much convenience and time saving, not waiting for public transport, allowing us to get access to the entire island, is going to be absolutely amazing. So make sure you're looking before you go on your trips exactly how you're going to get around, and weigh up the pros and cons before you do so. So the next biggest mistake that people make is super personal. And it's about backing up your photos. Depending on how long your trip's going to be and how many photos you're going to be taking, the importance of this can be varied. But as a general rule of thumb, it is so important to back up your photos when on trips. I went on a 4-month trip when I first started traveling, and I shot photos over maybe 4, 5, 6 different countries. And when I went to Barcelona, I was shooting a project for my friend Adam, who was climbing a building. All of that free climby, crazy stuff. Anyways, the police saw me filming him climbing the building and decided that I was also a criminal for filming, and confiscated all of my SD cards. I lost all of the footage from over a month of traveling, and I've never got it back. And it's, to this day, it's one of my biggest regrets. And that's why I'm saying it's just so important that you go out and get one of these, even if it's your phone, one of these little dongles that you can literally plug into your phone with an SD card, and you can just back up all of your information, whether that be on the cloud, whether that be onto an SD card, a hard drive, whatever you like. Back up your photos and videos. So the next mistake people make is to do with these. No, more like, that's better. So another huge thing that people end up doing is caring too much about fashion and caring a whole lot less about actually having comfy shoes. If you look back to most trips you've done, the chances are you've probably done quite a lot of walking, and there's nothing worse than painful feet. So make sure you're wearing something comfy and not anything like this. So the next thing on our list is actually to do with food and drink, and it's the big mistake that most people make, thinking that they can't actually bring food on the planes with them. And this is a complete myth. Of course, the liquid rule still applies, so you can't bring more than 100 ml of liquid, and that includes liquidy foods like hummuses, sauces, and that kind of thing. But what you can bring is hard foods like crisps, pastas, sandwiches, pretty much anything as long as it's not liquid, which should be changing anyway in the next year or so, when all of the new rules surrounding not having limits on liquids comes into place. So you can rest assured knowing that you can take your meal order on a plane with you, and if not, you can always make something at home and take it. We normally make ourselves a nice big pasta pot and take some little snacks, and we have a whale of a time, and end up not spending stupid amounts of money on plane food. Let's talk about packing. One of the most common and largest mistakes people make when going on holiday is packing too many things. They have backups on backups for backups for backups. 27 pairs of shoes, hair straighteners, hairdryer, the full shebang. Learning to reduce how much you take on holiday is going to save you in so many ways. Not only are you going to save loads of money on not having to pay for baggage fees when getting on the plane, you also don't have to lug all of that heavy stuff all the way to the airport, all the way to your hotel. An easy way to do this is just to abide by the one bag rule. Most airlines allow you to have one carry-on bag for free on the aircraft with you. We personally use the North Face Borealis bag, which seems to just be the most perfect size for most trips. I've traveled up to 2 months with the same bag. It's kind of the biggest you're gonna get without having to pay for extra. Just make sure you're planning your outfits in advance and maybe take into consideration that you could do some washing while you're abroad, depending on how long you're staying there, of course. I know what you're probably thinking, washing while on holiday? If you're there for anything less than a week, you won't have to. But yeah, be more efficient with the way you pack. Save yourself some money, save yourself some hassle. I challenge you to the one bag rule.